Hey, it's Frank from 40 Honeybee, and I just want to do a fence video update. So an electric fence update, year 2. Last year I had a bear come tear through my bee yard here. It wasn't much of a bee yard, it was just 2 hives, but there were 0 hives basically once the bear got through. So I had to really quickly educate myself and build an electric fence. And I do have an electric fence build video here, but I want you to listen to this. Do you hear this snapping sound here? That is the sound of 10,000 watt victory, guys. That's 10,000 watts going through 4 strands here. And the way I decided to space them, I just spaced them a little on the low side because I thought raccoons, skunks are going to get in there too. And then of course the top end, thinking a bear might want to go through this space here and then get zapped. You want the strands to be fairly tight, because if a bear does get through, you want the strands to apply enough force to get the electricity to its skin. So I went with these temporary, not temporary, I guess, plastic fence posts just because they were the cheapest. I actually do have metal T-bars, but these posts were going to be the quickest and the cheapest to put in. But you can see how they're faring, right? You know, this one's pretty stressed out, as are most of the corner ones. Really, the corner ones are the ones that carry all the load, and you counter the load, you counter the force applied by the, I better not get too close to that, the force applied by the strands, you counter that with, you know, a support there, a guy wire, I guess. So when I showed up in the winter, there was snow up to this top strand. There was almost 3 feet of snow here, right? So I knew it was going to take some kind of damage, but really all that happened was once the snow was gone, literally the snow's only been gone for a couple of days, really it's just the corner poles that were all bent out of shape. And it's because there was a lot of slack in the strings, in the strands, in the electric strands, and I had to tighten up the slack basically by tightening up first the electric strings. Probably what I should have done first was tighten up the guy wires here, you see. But anyway, the solution to this, I believe, I think this yard might end up getting bigger. Next year, there's a good chance I would just expand the yard a little bit out this way, the few feet out there and a few feet out there, maybe a few feet out the back, just to make it a bigger yard. If I do that, then I'll rewire the whole thing, and I'll use those steel T-bars, T-posts, which I have over there somewhere. I don't know if you can see them, but I might as well walk over. Yeah, I use the steel T-bars for the corners, because that really is what takes all the stress. And then still use these little plastic ones just because they don't actually take any stress. See, they're just basically guiding the wire through. You see those T-bars? That'll be solid for the corners. So anyway, back over to the fence. You'll see another difference this year if you compare it from this year to last year. I use solar, and that's nowhere near enough. That cell basically doesn't make much of a difference. Maybe it adds a few days to the life of your battery any given day or any given time, but you could actually calculate the power, the watt hours that's going out of the battery through the charger, and figure out what kind of solar power you need. Working also the fact that you don't get any power at night. It would need to be a much bigger solar panel than that. I've got my eyes on Kijiji, and if I find like a free one that's going at a construction site or something, or free couple of big panels, I might look into that. But for now, I just have batteries. I can drive my car right up to the yard here. So I've got 3 deep cycle batteries that work great for this. So I just bring up a battery. It lasts about a month without a solar cell. So this is something I'm going to be changing this year. And what it is that this is prime space. Inside the yard is primo space for bees. It really just should be bees and immediate bee equipment. The reason why I put this inside is because I was afraid the bear might kind of mess with that, actually. They do tend to get gnarly and mess with anything that's in their way. But it takes up too much space. It's too far away from the strands, and it's too big a footprint. So I'm going to reduce that footprint. I'm also not going to use bee stock. So I'm going to use some kind of an outdoor waterproof bucket or basket with a grommet so you can run some cables through. I also reduced this post. This post used to be about 6 feet tall here, but it was way too much leverage. I thought I wanted to reach way up over the fence so I didn't get shocked, but I get shocked anyway. And that switch kind of broke, so I'm still using it, but it's not less than ideal. But yeah, so I reduced this pole so it was less likely to get blown away or blown down, or even just so that it's a lot more firm. This is a lot more sturdy, right? So like in the choice of handles, although you see I used to have the handles hooking into that green polypropylene, but there's really no need for it. The handles can just hook right into the actual rod themselves, right? And any part of that is either the strand, the rod, the spring, they're all electrified. The only thing that isn't electrified is the plastic handles. So so if you look at my video on post maybe a year ago, a little less than a year ago, probably 11 months ago, on building this fence. If you need to build one, follow that video. You can get yourself a decent fence for the best possible price, I think. Maybe not. Maybe you can do a little cheaper. But it gets you a fence, and it gets it done right so that it lasts. And yeah, if you want to make any changes, just incorporate the changes that I'm talking about now. Let's do a little test here. I already did the licking my tongue test. That didn't go very well. So one thing that I thought was really important to get was this fence voltmeter, right? How do I know if the fence is actually charged without sticking my tongue on it? Well, this is how you do it, right? You grab a voltmeter. It's got a lead that you stick into the ground, right? Just like this. And then you take this part of the voltmeter and you touch it to any part of the fence, and you should get a reading. Boom. 10,000 volts. See that? 10 kilovolts. 9.9 kilovolts. So I measure it every time I come out. And you know what? Even the sound of the click. Again, you heard the click here. Here, I'll put you over there without getting electrocuted. You hear that click? When you hear it that loudly, even with all the wind noise, the bees and everything, it's working well. When the click starts becoming faint, you're losing battery. It's time to change out your battery. So I just always have a charger going at home with 3 batteries, 2 batteries on it, 1 here, and that's been working out okay. So that's my electric fence plan. Hopefully the build video and this video will help you get one going if you need one.